Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a tier list for football equipment. What's the best, what's the worst, see if maybe some things are worth spending your money on, could they improve your game. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is all from my experience, so you may have a different opinion. If you do, let me know down below in the comments. Maybe you disagree, maybe you agree. This is again just from what I've experienced. So let's get into this. Alright, we're starting off here with what looks like a altitude mask. So, alright, the altitude mask, I hear conflicted things on the altitude mask. And like I said at the beginning, personally, I have tried it and I feel like it has helped me. I haven't had like this super expensive one that Real Madrid uses in preseason with like the tube coming out and all that. I just got the regular one that kind of restricts your breathing. There's levels to it, so the higher the level, the less air you can breathe. I found it decently helpful when I was coming back, trying to get fit again. It did help, and also another thing I'm going to take into account is price. So, for example, if there's a piece of equipment that maybe doesn't do that much for you, but it's really cheap, it's probably gonna be near B, A, or even S. So it's all relative. You have to take into account the price, if it's effective, and things like that. So altitude mask, I'm gonna stick that. For me, I thought it helped a little bit. I'm thinking C or B. We'll stick it C for now. So just below B, which B is like, I would say B is you should buy it. A is, if you buy this, it's going to help your game a lot. S is, you cannot go without this. If you don't buy this, you are actually actively hindering your progression and your improvement. So next we have this electric ab thing. I remember Ronaldo had his own brand and said that it was good and tried to sell it. Personally, I think I've tried it once. I don't think it helped at all. I think it's a gimmick, to be honest with you, and they're pretty expensive. So I'm gonna stick that in D. D is like, don't ever go near this, don't touch it. So electronic ab zapper, D. Next we have Bosu ball, or something similar. It's basically something that you balance on, and personally I do use a Bosu ball. It has a flat bottom though. These ones look like they're both sides squishy, but very helpful actually. Especially when you want to strengthen after coming back from injury, get the balance back. Balance as a footballer is super important. So personally, I think Bosu ball is gonna go up in A or B. I'm gonna put it in A for now because a lot of people sleep on it. Like for the first, I don't know, 5-6 years of playing soccer, I had never used it, and then I went to preseason with a USL2 team and we used it a lot, and I could not balance on it. Like we would balance one foot and do volleys with the other. Super difficult. But it's only until recently where I've started using it and I've seen such improvements with my balance. I can now do different band workouts on it. That's why I like to do this thing called the hip series, where you're balancing on one leg and doing different movements with a band around your knees. So Bosu ball, balancing ball, I'm putting in A. I think it helps quite a bit. Next, it's just a football. I mean, it's gotta go S. You can't play football without a football. In terms of how expensive would I buy it, I would go to like the mid-range. So if you're buying in bulk, I'd say buy like $30 balls. It's just important that they are decent quality. They don't have to be the $200 Jabulani World Cup Champions League official match balls, although those are really nice. But they also can't be these Walmart rubber airy plastic balls. You gotta find somewhere in between. But yeah, so football's S tier. I usually go for the mid tier balls that are around $30, $40, $50 depending on how much money I have to spend. Next we have a full-size goal. Interesting. So I'm gonna take this as if it's at your house. I have had a full-size goal at my house. It wasn't like a proper metal. It was kind of like this tiny little skinny one. I'll put that on B because it does save you a lot of time when you're shooting. Instead of shooting, I don't know, at an open space, you can shoot at the goal and it will obviously keep the ball there with the net. So that is very helpful. But they can be very expensive. So that's why I'm going to put this in a B tier. If you are a striker or a winger or a 10, someone who's always going to be in those attacking areas taking shots, I might bump this up to an A, but we're going to leave it at B for now. Next we have these little rubber circle pads that a lot of coaches tend to use. Now, I've never used them personally. I use cones or agility poles. So I'm going to put these, I mean, they're probably really cheap, right? So they're just like cones except for you can't step on them, which I guess is a plus. I'll go for C, put them in with the altitude mask there. Next, okay, this one is going to be a bit controversial, I can't lie. Player Maker or any kind of like technology that tracks how many times you hit past the ball, how fast you run. Personally, I'm not a huge fan unless you're in a team where the coach gathers all the data and looks at it and actually has like a plan and a vision behind the data and uses it for team selection. Personally, I don't think it's really that helpful if you're just buying it for yourself. I've had it before, I've used it. It kind of just tells you, hey, I mean, you made this amount of passes, which isn't really a helpful statistic. Like passing, like let's say it tells me I made 50 passes. Wow, awesome. What do I do now with that information? Like, it's not really helpful, especially in training. Maybe games, it could be a little bit more helpful, but I don't see how you can really benefit from the data that it's giving you. Besides maybe top speed, you can use that to test your top speed, but you have other things like, which aren't actually on this list, vests, little pods you put in the vest that'll track how much you run, your heart rate, how fast you ran. That is a whole lot more useful in my opinion. Again, let me know if you disagree or agree in the comments, and they're quite expensive. So for that, I don't quite think it's as bad as the electric abs, so I'm gonna put that in C as well, but close to D for sure. Next we have speed hurdles. Speed hurdles I actually don't own, but I have used them in a lot of trainings. They're good. I put them in B, I think. They're not amazing, but it's good for jumping, you know, and high knees. You can do lateral, you can do forward, you can do backward. Yeah, you can do long sprints with each hurdle spread out, so you can work on really extending that range of motion of each step when you sprint. Again, they're kind of decent. They're like meh, they're B. Let's move on. Next is a tiny football. So that is interesting that it's on this list because a lot of people will probably neglect it. But there are coaches like Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel, who use these and for a reason, for a good reason. Now, in terms of pricing, they're quite cheap, but tiny footballs are very good because you have to think and really focus on your technique because the sweet spot is a lot smaller than on a regular size football. I probably should use tiny footballs a little bit more often in my training. It can improve ball control and just get a better feeling for that sweet spot in the ball. I'm gonna put that in A. A or B? I'll put in, but is it really practical? I'll put in B. I'll put in B. It's helpful. I wouldn't say you need to get this to improve quicker. It can help. However, I don't think it's amazing. Alright, next we're going to a speed ladder, another controversial one. A lot of people just slam the speed ladder and they say it's not helpful. You don't get faster by doing it. Personally, I have a speed ladder. I have done for a long time. And I find that it helps a lot with eye-feet coordination. It helps a lot with your footwork, obviously. And the quicker your feet move, the better your footwork will be with a ball. So that's why I think speed ladder, they're cheap, easy A tier for me. Definitely, if you haven't included a speed ladder into your training, you should for sure. Next we have a ball launcher. Now let's think about this logically. Actually, give me one second. Let's see how much these things cost. Okay. So the cheapest one is like $1,300. I mean, come on. You don't need this ball launcher. For $1,300, you need to save that money. Literally, you could just get a training partner, get someone on your team, call them up and say, yo, bro, let's go to the field. Let's do some long balls. Let's do some two-touch finishing. You don't need this. Even if you're a goalkeeper, maybe for shot stopping, but then again, just get your teammate. I mean, I'm gonna put this in D just because of the price. It could be useful for sure, but the price is ridiculous, and you could honestly, I recommend just calling up a teammate, a friend. Next up we have a mannequin. Now, mannequins are useful for free kick training, maybe if you're goalkeeper, corners, or claiming high crosses. Could be useful having something that resembles a real player. But again, these are quite expensive. Not quite D, but I'll put it in C because, you know, there's only so much you can do with them. Free kicks, that's really it for an outfield player. I mean, you could dribble through them, but I would prefer using something else on this list for that. Next up is the parachute, sprinting parachute. Now, I've used this before a long time ago, and I think it's helpful. I mean, it adds a little bit of resistance when you're sprinting, and I think it's better than using a sled because you're not putting all the pressure on your lower body, your hip area. That's how I actually got injured, probably. So definitely a good way to improve speed and sprint with resistance. And I don't think they're that expensive, so I'm going to put that in B. Next up, we have agility poles. Now, I've only just recently in the last 6 months started using agility poles, and I think they're quite helpful. They're a very much cheaper alternative to the mannequins, but they give you the same presence as a player because they're so tall. You can put your arm in front, get around them, and dribbling as well. It gives you that same sensation that you would have if there were players as tall as you around you. So I think agility poles, I'm gonna go ahead and put in B as well. Quite helpful, but not in that A or S tier. Now we have a rebounder. Rebounders are super useful, I think. And now there's a lot of them out there on the market, and you definitely have to be careful because some of them are super expensive. I recommend just getting maybe an $80 to $100 one. Decent, you know, holds up. Most important is that it stays solid. I haven't tried the ones that are like the one on this in this picture here that have like ridges that you can dig into the ground. I think a rebounding board is super helpful because you can do passing, you can flip it over, hit it, it'll pop the ball up, you can volley it, control it out of the air. Definitely super helpful if you don't have any training partners. I'm gonna put rebounder in A tier. Now, next up we have this kind of netted rebounder, I guess for volleys. Not really useful when you have this rebounder that can do the same thing. I think they're pretty expensive too, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in C tier as well. Now, band, elastic band. Super important for warm-ups, for strengthening like those small muscles that you don't use otherwise. So like your IT band, your groin, you can strengthen with the band. It's super helpful for coming back from injury. I can't say enough good things about the training band. So I'm gonna put that in S tier. Also very cheap. Next we have pug goals. I do use pug goals. They're really good, again, if you don't have a training partner, for passing accuracy, as well as you can put them in the net for a little bit extra precision practice. Try and aim for the pug goal inside the net. You put it in like the bottom right corner, bottom left corner. Try and aim and be really accurate. not too expensive. I think puck goals are helpful. A little bit difficult, not difficult, but time consuming possibly to set up, because they are kind of annoying to put up and put up together and close it down together. But I think they can help a lot if you're training by yourself, so I'll go ahead and put puck goals in A. Next up is cones. I mean, come on guys. What is a football training without cones? You can set up dribbling, you can set up sprinting, you can set up pretty much anything that your mind thinks of with cones. Now, cones are similar to these little circle pads that we saw earlier, but I think they're a little bit cheaper probably, and they're quite helpful. I think maybe not. You do need them. If you're gonna do training by yourself, you need cones to set up boundaries, things of that nature. A lot of people, well, there's some people who are like, oh, if you train with cones, it's gonna kill your creativity. Come on, man. Really? I don't agree at all. If you are one of those people, please in the comments tell me how training with cones, which resemble obstacles, right, that you're dribbling around, that you're sprinting around, how is that going to kill my creativity if in the game when I'm dribbling there are also obstacles? Now yes, you could say cones don't move like opposition players do, but that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, come on. So I'm putting cones in A tier. Here we have a attachment to a goal where it gives you only 4 places to score: top right, top left, bottom left. Super expensive, I'm pretty sure, but very helpful if you don't have a goalkeeper with in your training. So maybe I'll go ahead and put this at around, I wouldn't say it's B. I'll put it in C. I'll put it in C. Next we have the foot volley. Now I absolutely love playing foot volley, but of course this is only useful if you're in a team environment or training with like 2 or 3 or 4 people. Super fun. Definitely a great activity to do on recovery days. We did this after game days in the mornings a lot, and yeah, so I think it's helpful, but I wouldn't put it in B. I'll put this in C as well. Definitely not essential, but can be useful. Now, last but not least, the ball on the string. So funny story, I actually used to play against a team called Wellington Wave, and their warm-up consisted only of them holding their little ball in net and kicking it and getting touches. And it looked silly, it looked dumb, and yes, we smoked them pretty much every time we played them because they were just a bunch of rich kids. But I can see possibly if you are a very, very, rudimentary beginner footballer, this can be quite helpful because you can get the feel of striking the ball in the air with it coming back to you, and you get a lot of touches on the ball. However, it is not even remotely similar to the game. So I would say if you're a beginner, if you have a kid who plays soccer who can't juggle to 20, get him this. It could be helpful. Now, if you can juggle past 20, this is not helping you at all. Just juggle regularly, strike the ball regularly at net, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in C as well because it can be helpful. These two, not really. So that was it for the tier list video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below what you think about my tier list, what you would have changed, what you agree with, and also what's your favorite piece of equipment that's maybe not even on this tier list. Let me know. Alright guys, until next time, peace.